Hello, this is Francis from McCaffrey Crafts, and I just kind of wanted to kind of continue on from the last video because I was touching on a point that I thought was quite interesting to make a video about, and then I ran out of time because I had to collect the kids from school, and the dog is barking like crazy outside because there's another dog next door, and you know, when you see two dogs near each other, they bark like crazy. He'll be all right as long as you guys don't mind the barking in the background, and I'll do the barking in the foreground. So I thought this would make for a good video as well. Now that I thought about it, it's like a year during the pandemic for a shillelagh maker, and in the last video I kind of touched on how my sales were way down in March. I was really worried. I didn't know what to do. And I just thought I'd tell you about how the last year has kind of worked out for me, you know, just as a reference point for myself to look back in a few more years that I can, you know, sit back and go, oh, remember that thing, the pandemic? Yeah, you know, we can all have a drink and have a beer and reminisce about, you know, our time getting through it, and we will get through it. I'm a great believer in, you know, how people can adapt, can change, and, you know, whatever, you know, hits you will always make you a bit stronger as well. You know, and I think that a lot of people underestimate the will of people, and you know, to another extent, how much people can suffer. Like, you know, no one likes to go through anything harsh or any form of suffering. But what I've seen and what I know myself is that, you know, people can absorb quite a lot of suffering, and they can, you know, they can deal with it. I know it's tough for some people, but you know, there are a lot of people as well that you know, they get through things. And I always find out kind of like an interest. I don't know much about psychology, but it's just interesting how people, you know, some people, they can really absorb a lot of suffering, and you can see it, and you know, you wouldn't wish that in anyone, and you'd think it'd break a lot of people, but a lot of people, they're very resilient, and I think people need to give more credit for that side of things as well. You know, like for people that have that ability to go through, you know, hard times, it's a great character trait. It's something to talk about as well. But anyway, as always, I'm just drinking a cup of tea. It's one of the kids' cups. We have two dogs. One is Staffordshire, the bull terrier. You know, the famous tough dog that they say. Brilliant dog though. And then for the youngest son, he wanted a pug. I don't know. The internet loves pugs. They make for great pictures, but as pets, that's a whole video in itself. I might do a pug review sometime. I find pugs now a bit hard going as dogs. You know, they're you know, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, brilliant. You can't beat a dog like that. I know a lot of people don't like those dogs, but they're just great dogs. Like they're great companions. They're smart, even though he's barking like a mad thing outside. You know, he's very well behaved as well. So anyway, right, purpose of this video. I'm going to go through the past year from my experiences and my thoughts, and again, just as more of a reference point. So last March, COVID was hitting the world. We didn't know what was going on. I was off with the sun, thinking my business was over. What was I going to do next? Decided just to dig a hole in the back garden as a way of exercise as well. I think I was listening to some podcast, and I don't know, was it Joe Rogan or one of these guys, and they were just saying, you know, great exercise, dig a hole in the back garden. And initially that's how the kind of project started, to build an underground bunker. We sound like a great project to make a video of and stuff, but it's a fail. We didn't accomplish it. Ran into loads of problems with the rain in Ireland, and no matter what we tried to do, there was like, it kept getting filled up. Like we had one of the wettest times last year in Ireland. It rains almost all the time. Like I remember we started it back in March or April, and we tried to get it going, and it rained most of summer. There'd be 1 or 2 days dry where I was busy, and then it rained again, and it just rained all the time, and it just, you know, kept filling up with water, and we couldn't get, you know, it was a big project that's, you know, it was one of those projects that a father and son does. It's a disaster, And my son probably heard me use the most colorful language ever as we were doing that. And hopefully it'll give him some good experiences when he's in therapy in the future or something like that. But anyway, so I was thinking, March coming into April, like, what am I going to do? I have a shop, like a physical shop, where it's a tourist shop where people would come visit Courier. I have a shop right near the river and the bridge, whereas all the tourists will usually stop, take a picture of themselves on the bridge. There's beautiful views of the McGillicuddy Reek Mountains in the background. It's a nice place for people to pull in and take a photo. And usually what I found is, when people are doing the Ring of Kerry journey, which is a very popular tourist driving route, they would usually start in Killarney, and usually it takes about 30 minutes approximately for a tourist, not for a local, but for a tourist it takes 30 minutes to drive from Killarney to Killarney, or Killarney to Killarney. Usually in the mornings about 9:30, I would usually get, good tourists that would come in. They'd buy a few walking sticks, they'd buy a few Aran sweaters and jumpers, have a chat, give them my card. They go back to America or wherever, tell all their friends contact me buying sticks. It's a great, it was a great to have a shop, get to meet people as well, because stick making is a solitary business. You're on your own a lot. You're carving things a lot. You're out cutting sticks on your own. You don't have a group of people around you. So it's good to kind of meet people. So I was kind of thinking, right, what do I do with my shop? Do I stop doing that? Do I keep the shop closed or whatever? But then, with all of these rules, you had no choice. You had to close down. So no one could go to my shop. So I was thinking, right, this summer's going to be a problem because, I'm going to have no revenue coming in from my retail store. Is the online thing going to, get me through the summer when it's almost non-existent now? And, I was generally worried. And April, it was a bit of a better month than March, because March was a dead month. I think like the whole month of March, I think maybe less than five orders for the whole month. And, I'd be doing that in a day easily, like, even way more than that per day on average per year. And so I decided to just make quite a lot of YouTube videos to get really active. I said, right, if people are stuck at home, they have the internet. So why not blast the internet everywhere I can and just annoy the hell out of people online and let people know who I am. And, that's kind of the conclusion I came to in April. I said, right, I'm going to go at it. I don't care. I don't care what I say, what I do, who I argue with. I'm just going to go online into that cesspool of social media and, all the places where people were complaining, were angry, were upset. And I said, I'm just going to go in there and try to sell some walking sticks to pissed off people online, and it was educational. It was an experience because, like, I'm kind of an opinionated guy. Like, if I call out bullshit when I see it. I have a low tolerance for people that I disagree with and bullshit merchants and stuff like that. So, going online into social media and, bombarding people probably wasn't the best approach, for it. But you know what? It worked. It got my business going a bit. That, like in April, I was a bit more talkative on a lot of the groups on Facebook. I went into a number of the walking stick groups. I went into the stick fighting groups. There's quite a lot of groups on Facebook. And usually I never really went into those groups that much until last year because, like, they're just, everyone's selling there. You're competing with a lot of people. Competition's high. They're all, selling. There are a lot of people that are just kind of selling it cash in hand, ask no question type of thing, and they're selling things for cheap. And it's not the arena that I kind of wanted to go into too much. So I decided, sure, I need to get my business going. Like, it's the end of the world here. Am I going to just cry and not do anything about it? So I went into these a lot of these Facebook groups, And you know, if I saw someone saying something that I disagreed with, I said, sure, let me respond. You know, then they respond back, say something harsh to you, then I'm going to say something harsher to you, and you know, it's going back and forth. And strangely enough, like having a few kind of these silly verbal arguments with people online, it started to generate sales. Like some people would obviously agree with one side and some would agree with what I was saying. And I found there was like a handful of people that would, you know, they'd message me and say, okay, I saw your point there. Yeah, you make the sticks. Okay, let me buy a stick from you. And just by being very active on social media, I was finding that you know, it was doing pretty well. And I got my YouTube going as well, and I started making videos way more regularly. Like I was trying to do a video a day and trying to do as many as possible. I was on Instagram a little bit as well. I had a Facebook page and stuff like that. But it's quite time consuming. Like, you know, I wasn't making as much sticks as I wanted to. And you know, even though things were quiet and stuff, and you know, I had plenty of sticks, but I kind of, you know, wanted to make more. Like at the time, I think I didn't have many hiking staffs or shillelaghs. I just had a bunch of, you know, walking sticks mostly. And I wanted to kind of like diversify my products. I started making like a swagger stick. I saw some old pictures of these like army guys holding, you know, the sergeant stick, like the swagger stick under their arm, and they used to use blackthorn a lot for those type of sticks. So I started researching, can I do any products? I was saying, what other things can you do with blackthorn? Can you make jewelry with blackthorn, key rings with blackthorn, rings with blackthorn? You know, and I was kind of thinking of all these things, and I was prepared to have a go and try loads of different things. But, you know, I found, you know, that there was this, like, especially like a lot of the stick fighters, a lot of them started supporting me, which I was very grateful for. Like, you know, I was on a few of those groups, and you know, I started talking to them and, you know, giving some of my opinions. And I found that the stick fighters, they started coming back first. They were like the first group. They were like, okay, you know, we want to support you and we want to help you. And it wasn't like e-begging or like, you know, looking for it. I would just go in, ask questions. I would maybe once a month for the 3 months just do a post where I said, look, here's my shop, here's some pictures. And mostly I was just posting pictures, said, look, here's something I did, hope you like the picture. And I was just doing it like that. I wasn't asking for anything in return. It was more like I saw it as an awareness campaign. Said, look, if I go in and just let people know who I am, when they, you know, have some money, they might consider me and try to do it. And so April and May, you know, especially those French stick fighter guys, they were brilliant. They came, you know, I don't know if they watched the channel or not, like, but a lot of these French guys from France, like, they started supporting the channel at a time, or my business at a time when I really needed it, and it was great. And they told friends and they told other friends, and then there was like, you know, a guy in Australia who's involved in stick fighting. He bought a few sticks, and you know, it was interesting because, like, you know, I hadn't really like reached out to communicate a lot with the stick fighters only until like a year or two ago. I just thought, are they doing their own thing, you know, and they all have their different versions, and there's this type of style of fixed fighting and this one, and you know, most of it was like all abroad in different countries, and I never kind of figured out, like, you know, that they would have a big influence. I was like, right, I'll just make my sticks. If people like them, they like them. But you know, people have to know about you as well, like, you know, and connect with you. So, and I started making a lot of those faction fight history videos on YouTube, and you know, they were interesting to make for a while, but not many people were watching. I think more people just like me talking and seeing me making stuff than me talking too much about history. Like, if I ever put a big history video up for 10 minutes, I look at the stats on YouTube, and after 1 minute and 50 seconds, they tune out. They're like, oh, we have enough history in school for you. We have bigger worries at the moment, and understandably so. So, you know, that kind of got me on the path to recovery. You know, just finding like that niche group of stick fighting guys from France who were very supportive. And I found like a few of these little niche kind of groups of people who were interested like in Irish traditions, who had an interest in Irish stick fighting and faction fighting, and a lot of people who had a sentimental connection to blackthorn, which is a huge part of my business. Like their parent or grandparent would have one. They'd have some really nice memories attached, seeing their grandfather with a blackthorn in their hand, and by buying an authentic one, they felt a connection to to a past one, or to a loved one, or to something like that. And then, like, that was the kind of first wave of my business starting to come back again. And then, like, with people are giving out about all the money printing and stuff in America, and how people are just buying stuff online and stuff like that. But hello, online seller. What can I say? I don't know, is it right or wrong that the money printing is going on in America, and that Americans are buying foreign products more? But when you're an online seller, you're like, okay, I benefit from this. I don't know if it's the right policy to be kind of like printing loads of money and inflation going up and all like this. But on the flip side, on my level, anytime those stimulus checks were coming, business started going well for me. People had more disposable income. They were going online. They're starting to buy loads of stuff. Like, look at what was happening at Amazon, and everyone was staying at home, and everyone was buying stuff, just bored, being locked up like caged animals. Didn't know what to do. They were going online, watching YouTube. They were all watching Netflix more. And I guess I was, on a kind of smaller level, a beneficiary of that a lot of people were stuck at home. They were doing online shopping. So there was a big boom on online shopping that came towards the summertime, which was usually the quietest time of the year for online like stick making and selling. So that was kind of like the second wave. Like, all these kind of like stimulus checks were coming, and to help boost the American economy, because like, I refer to the like, it's American mostly, followed by the UK, and then Canada, Australia, and then Europe, in terms of like who buys my sticks. Like, 90% of what I sell still is always in the US market, and there's a number of US states that my blackthorn seem very popular in. Still one or two states that I haven't sold to, surprisingly. I don't know why, but it's there's some very good states there in the US. So those stimulus checks happened, and that started to get my business going. And then a lot of what I found is a lot of kids were worried about their parents, and they wanted to buy them something nice. And there was a huge trend that I saw of people asking me questions, saying, look, they want to buy one for their mom, for their dad. They're stuck at home. They felt really sorry. So like, it was nice to see there's a love out there, like, in terms of how people were reacting. Like, I know it's tough for everyone, and people didn't have a lot of money, but when they got a little bit, the first thing they wanted to do is buy something for a loved one, especially for an older person, because everyone was worried about their parents, about, the vulnerable in society, and all of this. And it became quite a big wave of these orders that were coming through. And usually, like, people would buy a Christmas present for their mom or for their dad. So a lot of people were starting to buy sticks for a loved one, out of like, they wanted just, I always knew you wanted this, please have one before anything happens to you. And it was kind of like, I started loving it, and I thought that was kind of like a nice, gesture and things like that. And that kind of picked up business again as a kind of like a kind of third wave to do it. And then like a kind of fourth wave happened, and I was, whoa, things are doing very well here. Then it came down to people really needed, like a walking aid and a stick, and they needed, they were stuck at home. They couldn't go out and buy a walking stick at the local store. They went online, searched for walking sticks. I had some advertising going. They'd see my ad, they'd say, all right, let's try this guy out. Didn't care who I was. Didn't care about the story of blackthorn. Didn't care about it was Irish, English, anywhere, Mexican, whatever. They just said, I need a walking stick. I'm stuck at home. Can you give me a walking stick? Fine. Can you get it to me quickly? Fine. No problems with posting it? Fine. They were that kind of person. And like, I don't mind that. They're just direct. They didn't care. They just wanted a walking aid. They wanted something they could hold. And like, There's a big surge of those bookings. And like my business was like, all right, here's pretty good. Like, there's a nice story going on here. And it was kind of coming wave after wave after wave. And like, then there was like another thing towards the end of the year, like, that was doing very well for my business. And it's kind of a bit unusual, the Brexit thing. With like, England and them leaving the UK, or not leaving the UK, sorry, Freudian slip there of trying to get Ireland back, but they're Northern Ireland, I mean, but when the UK was leaving Europe and Brexit, a lot of the media was putting out how all these customs and taxes, and it was going to be really hard to order from the UK and to import and export from the UK. And like this narrative they were pushing unintentionally started to increase orders for my walking stick from people that would traditionally maybe buy stuff from the UK. And they were like, look, I'm looking for a stick. I usually buy it for this person, but and like people, they just were volunteering that information. And then when even most recently, like since the UK has left the European Union, there's a lot of customs and excise duties that are put on imports and exports. Even when I'm buying stuff in the UK now, it's more expensive. When people are buying things online, they have to pay some taxes and they have to pay extra things. So, it's hurt a lot of UK sellers who sell outside of the UK at the moment. There's no way around that. It's like there's advantages and disadvantages in everything. And some people are winners and some people are losers. I think that at the moment for a lot of British sellers that sell abroad with these extra costs, it's just, it's going to make things a bit tough for them. But again, unintentionally, that caused a bit of a surge in people who would traditionally buy there, because I'm in Ireland. And then the biggest thing last year, which was a problem, was the post office and the post. The whole postal system was coming apart. Things weren't being delivered. Things were smashed in the post. Oh my God. It was like, everything was going wrong with the post, and you needed to have the support of a courier company. Now, DHL, UPS, these guys, they're not cheap. They're a bit more expensive than I put down in the postage costs, but I just eat that cost myself. And, like it used to be like, 28, if you want to ship a stick from Ireland to America with the post office, about €29, about $35. With a courier, it's a bit more than that. And again, to get like a business account with these couriers, you have to have pretty good volume of post that you do. And I had to negotiate a contract with DHL, and I had to go and negotiate a contract with UPS, and I kind of used the two of them now. UPS is a bit cheaper, DHL is a bit more expensive, but each are good for different reasons. So it's good to have them. And because shipping was a big issue, I would really try to get my shipping out as fast as possible. Like I see people were complaining. I know myself, I'd order stuff and I said, where the hell is it? Like, I ordered that weeks ago, and you get some generic message. We are sorry, due to the condition pandemic, blah, 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 blah. Like, when you pay for something, you want to get it, you don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear, about your sick buffalo or something like that you can't help someone because your farm animal's in trouble. Business is business. You pay for something, you want to try to get it on time. Excuses, people just want to get what they paid for. So by focusing on trying to get packing out as quick as possible to people, that helped a lot, because a lot of other people were having issues with the post office and with lots of different things. So it's very important to to be able to send things out pretty fast. And by doing that, people, especially at Christmas time, because at Christmas no one was getting nothing. The post office were huge delays, but when someone would order with me and they could have it in their hand within 3 days, they'd come back and make a second order and have it in their hand within 3-4 days. They come back to me and make a third order. Then a week before Christmas, they're like, oh, I order stuff, it's not arriving. Sure, at least I know your shop can get it to me on time. And because I'd built up that level of trust that people could, get their items on time, that started to go. So, there's just these things that were happening that were helping my business. That I identified as a problem with the post. So focus on getting things from, no matter how busy I get your post out in time, get your courier sorted, get things done. And you had to really step up your game. You had to work harder to get the sale during this past year, during the pandemic. Before I could sit back, sales would come in, people know who I am, I sit back and make the sticks. This year I had to cut back my time on making the sticks and allocate way more time on business development, on creating awareness, on answering questions in the post. It's really kind of, you had to adapt as a stick maker from solely just making the sticks to sacrifice some of the quantity that you could make last year and focus on that. Like, another thing too that's quite difficult during the pandemic is cutting sticks and cutting woods. There's a lot of restrictions here in Ireland where we couldn't leave within 5 kilometers of our home without a very good reason if we were going to work for an essential business. So if your business isn't essential, such as a tourist shop, they classified me as, that makes walking sticks, and even though walking sticks or walking aids, it was still, I wasn't getting much leeway in the popo and the Gardaí and stuff when I was trying to get to different places. They'd interrogate you. It's like one of these zombie movies or something where the world is falling apart. To see people, being trapped within a 5 kilometer range. It's unnatural. It's just, But what are you going to do? I had to try to sneak around and try to, get a stick here and there and try to cut, in different places, and a very much a covert operation. I was going to plan to make a load of videos of me going out and cutting sticks and stuff, but there's the 5 kilometer restriction. I wasn't going to be posting any videos, hypothetically speaking, of course, allegedly, of me going outside the 5 kilometer zone to cut some walking sticks. So, that was, I think I'd promised a big cutting season of videos and stuff. But, that was one of the reasons that it was quite difficult to get to some of the spots that I wanted to get to, because there's a load of roadblocks and stuff up. So you have to adapt. I had to adapt to working from home. I've destroyed my kitchen. It's, I shouldn't be doing that, but I'm straightening sticks a lot in the kitchen. I have the back. I just work outside in the back garden. Whenever it's a dry day, I just go out in the back garden with a little table in the middle of the garden, and I just start working on my sticks there. The kids are screaming for food at the door. I'll come in and feed them. The 2 boys are having a fight, which they do every day. He looked at me, he looked at me. One of those the fights the brothers have that you have to go in and separate before they pick up a stick and start hitting each other, because I have sticks everywhere. I got to be careful with that too when you have a bunch of kids around and you have walking sticks, which are great weapons, and they're known as the Irish fighting stick. But you don't want 2 kids to grab a fighting stick and to have a go at each other, and in tempers and have that Irish temperament inside you, which it is good fun and chatty, but Irish, they're a bit feisty too. When it comes to a bit of ruckus, it's in our DNA. We're a fighting nation as well. No matter the most meekest Irish guy, it's like a primal instinct to fight them. You'll see that even the biggest wimps out there and stuff. If an Irish guy, you just get in the wrong way, it'll come out. It'll come out with all Irish as. And Irish women, they're tough as nails as well. That's a different video for another time. So I had to work at home. That was quite, working at home and trying to manage the online classes and school. And so what I was finding is that I had less hours in the day to do the tasks that I needed to do as a stick maker, because I had to do way more business development. I had to do way more marketing. I had to spend a lot more time being active on social media. In addition to that, I had extra work to do because I had to be the teacher of the 3 kids and police over them. And, I had to do like all of these extra jobs. So it came to me planning and trying to schedule every hour of my day. And what I really had to do to adapt to this pandemic is maximize every hour of the day. So I kind of set up every hour of the day into a block. So I said 1 hour straightening sticks. That hour is up, that's it. 1 hour packing sticks. 1 hour printing off the import and export labels with the courier service. 1 hour 1 hour finishing the sticks, 1 hour sealing the sticks, and I'd have to do this at different points of the day. And, because I was so busy during the day, I'd work evenings, like you'd work, 9, 10 o'clock, things like that. You'd work all the way up. The dog is wanting to come in now at the door. He can wait another second. He'll be fine, barking away. But so I had to really work 7 days a week, schedule my time and try to prioritize things really well. And by doing this, I found it worked. It helped. If I sat back and became the full-time teacher for the kids at home and did everything correctly, I wouldn't have a business. So I had to kind of balance, as best I could between their education, trying to make sure they didn't kill each other. They were bored as well. They wanted to play and do this. My son wanted me to play Xbox. The other son wanted me to, universal sandbox on the computer with him. And the daughter wanted to go out to all these music gigs and events, and she couldn't go anymore. And she's a teenager. She wanted to talk to all of her friends and couldn't go. She wanted to hang out and meet her friends that, from different parts of Ireland. She couldn't. So, it's just like, I suppose every parent out there has or any person, not just a parent, has had all these weird experiences. But like this past year, I just adapted. I changed the way I worked. I sacrificed the quantity of sticks I made so that I could have enough sales to maintain my business. Moving forward, this is 2021. We're a year under this now, and who knows how long more it's going to last. You can spend all your time worrying about how long is it going to last, what am I going to do, or just get active. Just do something, keep hustling, keep trying different things. Try anything you can. Like, when your business in survival mode and you care passionately about your business, you get pissed off, you get angry, use it as inspirational dissatisfaction. I think that's what I'm going to call this video, inspirational dissatisfaction. And, I have, this is just my personal experience, and I'm sure I can go into more things in more detail. But like, from the shillelagh making aspect, they were the kind of catalysts last year that really helped my business get through it. Like, there were some local supports too. When you're reopening your business again, there was a few grants. The government, by pausing some business loans and things like that, helped. I did have a loan out, and they paused it as well. So, and there was there was various little schemes and different things that helped out small businesses as well. And combined all of these, 1 year into the pandemic now, will my business survive? You have a shillelagh maker, tourist shop, no tourists in Ireland, worldwide pandemic still going on and raging. Will my business survive? 1 year in, I think it will. I think I've been saving a lot. I've put, a lot to the side to just in case, something bad happens again or something like that. I think I could, I could survive the rest of this year if it turned out to be some other big disaster, some meteorite came and hit the world, and something like something mad was going to happen again and no one predicted. Alien invasion, we'd fight them off with our blackthorn shillelaghs or something like that. There might be a market. Alien invasion, they've zapped the earth. What weapons do we use now? Oh, let's buy a shillelagh from that stick making guy. There could be an opportunity in everything. So that's how I'll be thinking. When the aliens come to invade, I'll be out, get your blackthorn shillelaghs, good for cracking those giant skulls, jokes aside. Well, actually, no, you have to, I think that's an Irish thing. You have to have this kind of humor, dark humor, or just, self-deprecating humor, and it helps. Like, I suppose, like, the Irish are always a bit like that. We're begrudging of different people. There's a jealousy to us. There's comical nature to us. But like, and like, Irish people have been through so much. The weather just is horrible. We're trapped at home most winter times because of the weather. So I think we're done okay during the pandemic. Like, it's just been annoying to be stuck, especially if you like to go. But like, I think the Irish were predisposed in terms of the collective consciousness of the country to endure something like a year pandemic. But I wonder how long, people can go through it before they bubble up. I think everyone has their breaking point on it. So my advice, look, to other business guys and people going through this is just try to adapt, try to do different things, just try to keep active in some kind of way. Never give up. If things are going bad, just take a moment to think, start doing something else, working on something else as you think along. Stay off social media. Oh my God, I've kind of cut back on all my social media. I'm not as active on Facebook anymore. I just couldn't. I was just getting into too many arguments with people. Unless my sales go down to zero again, I'll go out and argue with more people on social media to get sales. But I think there's easier ways to do marketing than that. I might do a video on that sometime about social media marketing, what not to do and what I did wrong. And I think, like, sometimes arguing with people, I'd get sales. So I thought, oh, maybe there's something to this. So I go out and I'll just be critical of someone who's selling a blackthorn that isn't real blackthorn, and I said that's not a real blackthorn, and they didn't want people to know. It's a whole new kettle of fish. So look, I've been kind of going on here, oh my God, near 36 minutes, but I kind of wanted to do a kind of full chat to give you kind of a perspective of it. I don't know if it'd be helpful to anyone. I don't know if anyone made it to the end here. If you made it to the end, put down in the comment. I'll give a word to put into the bottom of the comment just to prove that you got to the end. We'll say biscuit. All right. So if you got to the end of this video, you didn't like tune out after 16 minutes. Go on, I dare you to write the word biscuit in the comments just to prove that you got to the end of the video of my 30. I think it's the longest kind of rant or talk I've ever done, but it's not really a rant. It's more just my kind of experience during this year, and it's a year anniversary, I suppose, of trying to get through it. But I'm hopeful. My business is still going, and I'll do everything within my power to keep Shillelagh making, alive and well, moving forward into the future. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.